We are at campsite 11 up Sullivan Creek Road. And this area has had a lot of reports. There's been reports of Sasquatch being seen crossing the road. There's been reports of whistling, whooping, and there's also been footprints found.
We were sitting there cutting wood, and I sat down to take a break, and all of a sudden this really loud crack. I mean, the tree line was like from here to those trees, those two trees right there, and I was sitting down, I heard crack, and I looked straight over at it. It was eerie, and I felt like I was being watched.
These campers reported that they heard whistling like 10 o'clock at night. They were sitting around the campfire. They had a couple kids with them and a dog, and they heard whistling from one side of the camp. Some whistling, I think it was over by the creek, and then further down the creek, then they heard whistling later. And so it was like whatever was whistling moved around them and further down the creek.
The coyotes, you could just barely hear them, but the howls, they were really loud and long, drug out howls. And then as I'm sitting there listening to it, every time those howls would go, the dogs would respond, and then all of a sudden, whoop, real loud whoop echoed out through the canyon.
If I ran into a Sasquatch, and I actually got footage of a Sasquatch, I can't actually tell you what I would do because I've never been in that situation. I mean, there have been people telling stories about their hair raising up on the back of their neck, and they're scared to death, and they're frozen. I don't believe that would happen to me, that I would do that, but it's possible. But if I was able to get some really good footage of them, I think it would just make me more interested in the subject, and I would continue to try to find out all I could about these creatures.
I'm not out to prove this to nobody, so like I said before, it's observation. I want to see what's making these tracks. I want to be able to figure out what it's doing, why it's in certain places, you know, stuff like that. A good set of tracks is only going to be incentive. It's not going to turn me away. Once I find evidence, isn't going to stop me, you know? It just makes you more curious.
Yeah, if I found the perfect set of footprints, and they have at least a 5-6 foot stride in between steps. They're anywhere from 14 to 18 inches long, and they have toe impressions in them. I would definitely go back and get some material and cast them. I would probably follow the tracks as far as I could follow them until they disappeared, and see where they go. Because that in itself, the direction that they're going, sometimes is a clue to where you may find, a habitat of Sasquatch or something.
When I'm out here, I'm looking for tracks, footprints, because that's the major thing that I've found. So I don't pay attention to all the other stuff, like the trees and stuff like that. I look for footprints. And if I did find that, I would be trying to follow it to the best of my ability. And if I wasn't able to, then I would probably come and find my friend James and get him with his drone, come out, follow.
I do documentary filmmaking, and I follow guys around that are searching for evidence. And most of them don't call themselves Sasquatch researchers. But I've been doing this for 3 years, and I've been watching researchers, I've been learning from them, and I consider myself a Sasquatch enthusiast, but I'm not a researcher. I find the subject really interesting, and so that's why I go out, and it's mostly to solve my own curiosity.
Like I said, observation. I can't tell you how I'm going to react if I see one. I know how I've reacted when I've been in the presence of bear and cougar. I've been charged by a black bear, so I kind of feel like that's going to be the same feeling.
Would you then still pursue it?
Yeah, Because like I said, I'm curious. I'm too curious. I'm too curious to leave it be.
My goal is to get footage of a Sasquatch, to get some really good footage of a Sasquatch, and if that's possible, I want to do it. So if I do see a Sasquatch, I will run towards it with my camera and try to get the best shot I can get. Yeah! And hopefully survive it.
That ain't blurry.
Yeah, one that ain't blurry.
We set sail into the moon. Tilt our tails to the morning dew. Our plans and schemes seem so serene. Amongst the stars, red, gold, and green. Oh, we gave it all in the autumn fall. We danced like flames around the sun. Angels flew where our hope had come. And fireflies went to and fro. As we sat back in their afterglow.